Ooh, Brugal, I see you, boy. You do the big boy status. I see you. Ay, tato.
Hey, bro, I'm not gonna get lit, alright?
Oh, you're gonna get Blitz!
What up?
What?
3, 2. Hey guys, welcome to Sports Blitz. Your boy Rob.
What your boy say?
We're gonna be talking about trending things in sports. First thing, Jose, who finishes better this season between the Gators, the Hurricanes, and the Seminoles? I know you didn't include my Knights in there, national champs, but
Your what? Your what?
my
National
Knights,
what?
national champs.
What?
Yeah, they went undefeated.
He lives in Orlando.
Did they make the playoffs?
They didn't make the playoffs because they're not ranked that way.
Oh,
worry about it.
wait. So
We
how are
gotta
they?
hate it,
How
but
are they
it's
national
cool.
champs? You know
They
what?
went undefeated and they beat
I
Clemson.
like the Knights just because of Griffin. He was a great story coming out of UCF. No hand getting drafted by the Seahawks with his brother already a starting corner for them, and him becoming a starting linebacker. But
Undefeated.
Let's just keep it real, Robert.
Undefeated.
If your Knights played Alabama, they would have gotten mopped.
But they beat the team who beat Alabama.
They
Clemson.
would have gotten mopped. They would have gotten mopped. They got lucky with Clemson, bro.
They got lucky with Clemson.
They got lucky with Clemson.
Look at the game.
bro.
Look at the game.
That's where your coach. Okay, so why did
Here's the thing.
so why did your coach leave?
Because he obviously
Why
did
did
such
he
a
leave?
great job. They signed him professionally to make some real money rather
No,
than
he
playing
didn't.
at
He said
UCF.
he went to another college, bro. He
That's
left.
gonna pay him more money.
Correct, but if he believes in UCF and the program that UCF is could,
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it comes down to dollar bills.
No, man.
It does.
If he believes that UCF is gonna become this powerhouse program,
You go play
Florida
at the big college. You don't go to
produces big time talent. So if you coaching in a college in Florida, period, you will get some talented player, a la Charlie Strong and UCF.
All I'm saying is he got paid
USF,
more.
not
He
UCF.
left.
USF.
Here's the question, Jose.
Of course he left because he's
Here's
a
the question.
freaking underrated. It's a freaking garbage program
Exactly.
that had no success before he got there,
Exactly.
and it was just a lightning in a bottle type of situation. It's just that simple. It's not gonna happen again, and I got lucky.
All right, we'll take the luck. Undefeated. Here's the question: Who
Not
finishes
national,
better this
not
season?
national champs though.
Who finishes better this season? They're not actual national champs. You're right. Who finishes better this season? The Gators, the Hurricanes, or the Seminoles?
The freaking Gators, boy. Nah,
Such a
JK.
Gator fan.
I'm a Gators fan, but no, man. Just looking off their schedule, it's tough. The Hurricanes by far have the easiest schedule out of all three of them. As it pains me to say, the Hurricanes may end up with a better record. For the next 3 games, they play Toledo, FIU, and UNC. Toledo, mierda. FIU, even more mierda. UNC could be a competitive game, but they're dealing with some coach drama, some sanctions. It's probably going to be a W for you guys. After that, you play Florida State. Your first actual game out of those 3, that's gonna give you. Out of those 4, that's gonna give you a nice little test. And I can see Florida State easily winning that game. So I can see. I'm gonna call that a loss for you guys. Then y'all play Virginia. I'm gonna go ahead and say you guys have some, mental.
Breakdown.
No, not a mental breakdown. Say you guys have mental strength and you're gonna come back and get a W against Virginia. Solid team. You play Boston College, mierda. That's a W. Duke. Disparate. Even though last year they gave you a run for your money. So, it may be a close game, but I can see y'all winning. Georgia Tech, they're tough. They're running three option game. You never know who they're going to hand it off to. Their running back, their quarterback's going to keep it. Maybe the fullback. That's going to be a tough game, but I can see y'all easily winning that game as well. Virginia Tech, that's a loss. So now you're talking about you're losing against Florida State. You're losing against Virginia Tech. That's 3 L's. Everything else, I can see you guys easily winning. Your last game of the season against Pittsburgh, that could be a W. So, y'all looking strong. The Seminoles, on the other hand, they play Syracuse. That's probably a W. Northern Illinois, that's probably a W. Louisville is going to be a very interesting game. ACC matchup. I can see Louisville easily winning that game. Against the Hurricanes, like I said, I already predicted the Seminoles winning. So,
Right.
they're probably going to get that W. Wake Forest, that's probably another W.
Ooh.
Against Clemson, guaranteed loss.
Guaranteed loss.
Guaranteed loss.
Yeah, but
if
they're not being
Clemson chokes against Florida State,
Which obviously is college football, so you never know.
it could happen. It happens all the time.
Like
but
they lost
that
to
should be a
UCF.
guaranteed loss. NC State, that should be a W for them. Notre Dame should be a loss for Florida State. So now they're tied with, the Hurricanes as far as loss. Boston College should be a win. And then the last game of the season, Florida against Florida State.
Ooh, that's a good game. You know what? You know everyone's gonna be.
It's gonna be
out
a very,
in the city,
very high
wild.
game. I'm very excited for that game.
That's a good game.
And that's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be one of the things that's gonna either put the Seminoles in the bowl game or the Gators in the bowl game. And guess what, man? I'm gonna say it. And I'm being a fan.
Gator fan.
I'm being a fan. I'm just gonna say it. The Gators will win that game. They're probably gonna win by a field goal, but they will get the W in that game.
Let's do the challenge.
And guess what? The whole question was, who's going to finish with a better record? I predict they're all going to have 3 losses.
Florida State,
The
Miami,
Hurricanes and the Gators are all going to have 3 losses.
Bold prediction moment right here.
So, Rob, which NFL team stood out the most to you? And what team didn't show up?
Honestly, man, this week was a crazy week of first week football.
Definitely.
We all expected, obviously, we asked these players to get ready for the season, get ready, but then we don't want them playing preseason. I get hurt, avoid injuries, yada, yada, yada. We bring in the back. We want to see what we have on the bench. I get all of that. So the first week's always crazy. People are still warming up, building chemistry, yada, etc. But I'll tell you this. The one guy that stood out to me like crazy, like a sore thumb, was Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick delivered 4 touchdowns, 417 yards with 0 interceptions.
I know.
All I'm saying is, of all the players you saw playing that day, I mean, you
Impressive.
probably agree. You're not expecting 4 touchdowns from Ryan Fitzpatrick.
400 yards? I'm not
417 yards?
impressive.
If he did 4 touchdowns, fine. He threw the ball in the end zone. He ran the ball
And
the
it
whole
was against
game.
New Orleans.
It wasn't Blake Bortles.
It was against New Orleans, who last year had a very good defense. They had a very solid defense, and this year they made a couple trades to try to get some pass rushing, and it hasn't worked out. At least it didn't work out in week 1. Obviously, you said week 1 is the first week of the season, so they're still trying to get together.
Right,
but
right.
it was very disappointing showing. I mean, the only team that did worse than them was the Detroit Lions. So, but like you said, what team didn't show up, Rob? Like, what you got out there?
So, in my opinion, for the team who showed up was obviously the Buccaneers. You got Jameis Winston missing in. He's suspended for 4 games. This guy stepping up. Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm the coach. I'm looking at him. I'm like, hey, you had a great first game. Let's see how you carry this team until Winston comes back. The team that didn't step up, to me, in my opinion, was the 49ers. Right, we talked about, people are hyping this guy up. Jimmy Garoppolo, they're hyping him up. 7-0 start last season. They saw what he could do. Granted, this is the first game of the season, so I'm cutting him some slack. But he had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions with a completion rate of 45%, 15 for 33. Now, if I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm looking at film, I'm studying, and I'm eating film for breakfast because 3 interceptions for someone who went 7-0? You were doing great last season. Did you let the season catch up to this time? Are you the truth? Did people overhype him?
He looks scared.
All I'm saying is he looks scared out there. He didn't look comfortable out there. And for the first game, honestly, like football, like any other sport, is a sport built off of confidence. You start off week 1 like this, 3 interceptions. Are you coming in second game confident? Obviously, you're an athlete. You better have that type of mentality, but it can weaken some of the guys out there, especially the guys who haven't had under 10 games under their belt. So, Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm hoping you do good this week. I'm expecting you to do good this week. I mean, come on, 3 interceptions? All I'm saying is, this week I was definitely surprised. I wasn't expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to throw 3 interceptions, and I really wasn't expecting Ryan Fitzpatrick to throw 4 touchdowns. But not only 4 touchdowns, 417 yards with 0 interceptions.
No, he had an impressive game, man. Garoppolo did not have an impressive game. And it's funny because he was the top-rated quarterback last year after he became a starter.
Got paid.
Against the Blitz.
He got paid.
And last week, the Blitz was giving him all types of
work.
fits. The man was scared. He was flinching. He was seeing ghosts out there. And they always said if you get to a quarterback and you hit a quarterback early in the game, they get scared and they start flinching. And let me tell you, he went out there and proved that same exact point. And that's why they always say defense wins championship. Because if you get to a quarterback and you knock him the hell out, they start seeing ghosts out there. And they start making plays that are not even, there. So I can see how Garoppolo was a bit overrated during the season. And I can see how Fitzpatrick has been a bit underrated his whole career, to be quite honest.
His whole career.
But, you know, it definitely was a fun week 1, and I'm looking forward to week 2 of the NFL season.
And you know what? I mean, I give him the week 1. Week 2 and 3? You better show me you know the playbook. You better show me more completions. I'm hoping you do what you're supposed to do because you got the funds to do it now. What I'm going to ask you now, Jose, is did Kyler Murray make a mistake by picking baseball over football? We know he's a star in both, and he signed a contract with a major league team, but he has a 1 year left in his college football career as a quarterback. Did he make a mistake going baseball over football? I mean, what would you do?
Okay, so, all right. What would I do? Okay, this is a biased answer because I'm an ultimate baseball fan, and I will always pick baseball over anything, regardless.
Anything.
But when you think about it, as career-wise, which sport would he have a longer career if he makes it in? It will be baseball. Football is a very violent sport. You never know. He's not the biggest guy out there. He's 5'9", you know, something like that. He's not the biggest guy. He'll be a smaller quarterback, you know. Russell Wilson tight. Because Russell Wilson's 5'10", 5'11" type of thing, you know. Yeah. So he'd be shorter than Russell Wilson. That's gonna be one knock on him already.
He didn't get picked anywhere near the first round.
Yeah. So. Well, he hasn't been eligible for the NFL draft.
I'm talking about Russell Wilson.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like you're risking yourself, putting yourself in.
That's the thing, you know. They always gotta fight that stigma about shorter quarterbacks not being able to make the throws and not be able to see over the old linemen and not, you know. Right. But you know, they always go back to Drew Brees, but Drew Brees himself is 6 feet tall, so you know he's a lot taller than Kyler Murray. But Kyler Murray on the baseball field is an absolute stud. He was a stud in high school when he was a shortstop. Hit for power, hit for average, has some speed. You know, in college he didn't play as much, but he showed enough to become the 7th overall pick in the draft and sign a major league contract with the Oakland A's. Did he make a mistake? I do not think he made a mistake at all because, like I said, he could have a way longer career in baseball than he would in football. And let's not deny it. Baseball players get paid. P-A-I-D. They get paid. So if Kyler Murray reaches his full potential, and you know he's playing shortstop for the Oakland A's, hitting you 15 bombs, 300, and stealing you 15 stolen bases per year, that's a $20 million player right there. And you're talking about baseball, so you're talking about he could possibly make $20 million for the next 7 to 10 years. I'll take that all day over football. Yes, as a quarterback in football, if you become elite, you're making some big bucks. But that's a big if. And at any given moment, the wrong hit could take you out of your whole career. So he made the right decision. You know, like I said, he ain't played much in college for in baseball, and he was still drafted 7 overall, which just says a lot about his talent. But
seriously,
it says a ton about his talent. The guy is very talented. He's gonna be a little raw when it comes to baseball. It might take him a little longer to become a big leaguer than it would have become an NFL player. But he's definitely made the right decision as far as career-wise and as far as, you know, setting up his family for a better future and having a longer career.
Definitely longer career in baseball than it is in football.
I mean, Dave Winfield was the perfect example. Dave Winfield got recruited for basketball, football, tennis, swimming. I mean, the guy was cross-country. The guy was an absolute stud. He picked baseball. Guess what? He had a 20-year career in baseball. Became a Hall of Famer, and he does not regret it whatsoever. You never know what could have happened if he would have picked football or basketball. You never know, man. You could tear an Achilles, DeMarcus Cousins. You know, you could break your neck. So many football players out there. You never know what happens. Yeah, you never know what happens. Ryan Fitzpatrick is one of the. You know, he came out of Harvard.
Not Ryan Shazier.
Shazier, yeah, you know, you saw that, you know, paralyzed. Well, ended up paralyzed. Had to really learn how to walk. You know, may not be able to play the game ever again. Does he have any regrets? I don't think so. But, you know, just consequences when it comes to a game that's so violent. And yes, in baseball, you could get hit in the head with a baseball. You know, like Giancarlo's got hit in the jaw. Shit happens. That's fine. But a lot more things happen in football than they do in baseball. So, like I've said, he definitely made the right career choice when it comes to making the most money and staying healthy and having the longest career possible. So, Rob, should the Cleveland Browns start Baker Mayfield over Tyler Taylor after 1 week? I mean, you did trade some assets for Tyrod, but then again, Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick. What would you do if you were running that team?
So, I'm going to break it down. There's a fan point of view, and then there's the organizational point of view. And then as an organization, that's what comes first, because you're representing the organization. You're not representing the fan base. You don't go out there and make the fans happy. You do what you're hired to do and what you're known to do. You don't do what the fans ask you to do. Granted, as a fan, I want to see Baker Mayfield out there. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the league. Drew Brees has high praise for him. He even says that he's actually expecting Baker Mayfield to be a better version of, just be better than Drew Brees in general. But let me tell you this.
High praise right there, bro.
It's been 1 week. Tyrod Taylor went 1 touchdown, 1 interception with 197 yards. He went 15 for 40, finishing under a 40% completion rate. Not the best game he had. Again, I'm going back to the same thing, and I don't want to justify failure. I never want to do that, but it's week 1. Week 1, these guys are figuring out routes. They're figuring out teammates. They're running chemistry. They got the jitters, let's be honest. It's like the first day of class for these athletes. This is what they do on a professional level. So it's their first day in class, if you will.
Absolutely.
And you're still finding homeroom. You're still finding where second period's at.
Yeah.
And as an organization, you don't want to replace the guy you just got traded to. You don't want to replace Tyrod that quick. Right? First of all, you're paying him more than you are Baker Mayfield. Is Baker Mayfield the future of Cleveland? I think so. But Tyrod, it's been 1 game.
Well, I would hope so. They drafted the guy number 1
Number
overall.
one.
So he has to be the freaking
But what I will say is, as an organization, you gotta let Tyrod play a few games.
When does the
before you
future
replace
start?
him.
All right, Rob. So if you're Cleveland and you feel you have enough talent to be a playoff team, let's say you traded for Landry, you traded for Tyrod, you made a couple moves, you drafted a couple players, Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall. How long until you say Tyrod is being a liability instead of an asset to this team?
Okay.
I get that you're saying he should start two more games for them, but how about them two? And the next game he goes out and throws another 2 picks, throws under 40% again. Are you sticking with him when you got Mayfield looking like a damn stud out there in the sidelines? That's the number 2.
So here's my thing.
I get that you traded for the guy, but at the end of the day, you're trying to win. It's the NFL. And you're trying to win games.
And as a coach, you have a job to deliver. So here's the thing: if he goes out next game, he throws out 2 picks, has a 42% completion rate, and he's just not looking comfortable out there. I will stand up on the podium like a coach and tell him, I believe in my quarterback. I believe in the system we got going on. I believe in what we're doing. I give him 1 more game. If he does not impress the 3rd game, from there on out, I'm going Baker Mayfield. Because you know what? As a coach, you can't look sporadic and desperate and just replace people. Granted,
wouldn't that look
look
sporadic and desperate though, going to Mayfield after 3 games, 4 games? I'm just saying.
It's
only 16 game
only if
league.
He's throwing interceptions and he looks scared out there and is not looking well. Now, if he goes out there, he goes 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, or 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, he rushes for a touchdown, well, let's just say 220 yards or 180 yards with a decent completion rate of over 55, 65%, I'm keeping him for a little longer. But if he's going out there throwing picks, losing games, because they did get a tie game 1. If he's going out there losing multiple games.
Isn't that the most Browns thing ever? Breaking a losing streak by getting a tie? Oh,
How
man.
good does that look on the stat sheet? 0-1.
Not to be honest, not a pick on Cleveland, but damn, that is the most Browns thing I had ever heard in my life.
And look at that. I mean,
wow. Now, like I said, once again, I don't want to pile on to the Browns because I feel like they deserve to win some games. They definitely deserve to get some success in that city. I get the Cavaliers have had success, and Cleveland has filled a championship in the past years.
Recently.
But when it comes to football, they are an absolute mystery. They're even worse than my Dolphins. I mean, that's saying a lot.
Seriously.
So they deserve some good things going on to them, and I just feel like
eventually it's gonna come around.
I feel like they're cursed, like the Red Sox. The Red Sox took 101 years for them to win a World Series.
The Cubs were also cursed too. They won a World Series as well. So I mean, if it takes that long, it
took 100 years.
If it takes that long, it takes that long. Don't get me wrong.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But I just feel like
Ain't nobody got time for 100 years to be waiting for a Super Bowl championship, man. So no, man.
Realistically,
No.
I mean, what can you do as a fan base? You win.
Rob,
That's
so
all you
for the
can.
past 7 drafts, the past 7 first-round picks for the Cleveland Browns have not made the team after 3 years. They have released every single player, released or traded every single player they have drafted in the first round in the past 5 years. That is freaking incredible.
That's upsetting.
That
as
is
a fan.
super hard to
As
do.
an organization.
And like you said, it's super upsetting as a fan organization. That means you do not know what you're doing. You're not picking the correct players. And you do not know how to lead a football team. And hopefully, the new management they got in there now could make it happen. And Dorsey, he looked like he came from Kansas City. He drafted some solid players out there. But it's Cleveland. I don't know. When it comes to Cleveland, I just feel like they just, like I said, they're just cursed, and in this bubble, they can't get out. So as far as people calling for Baker Mayfield week 1, that's a little premature.
Too early.
But Tyrod Taylor can only do so much. And in Cleveland,
I give him game 3. If he's not making the team significantly better, game 4, game 5.
is that his fault, or would that be to say Landry not producing, or
Okay, so if it's not his fault, let's see what Baker Mayfield does with that exact same lineup and that exact same coaching staff and exact same routes and whatever the case is.
I agree. Absolutely.
Then we'll see. And honestly, as a fan, I want to see Baker Mayfield. I'm waiting for week 3, week 4 to see what happens there because he's the future of Cleveland. I'm looking to see what the Browns do this week and the next coming weeks. But Baker Mayfield, I'm rooting for you. Jose, switching the subject here. I've watched this guy play baseball growing up. He was always on my fantasy team. It's a farewell to David Wright, who's going to retire at the end of this year. I mean, what are your thoughts on this guy? He's been in the league for so long. He's just been consistent. What do you got to say about him?
It's a shame, man, because David Wright, at one point, he was the face of the Mets. He was a surefire Hall of Famer before all these injuries caught up to him, and he just disappeared off the face of the earth. And like I said, I give the guy props for, sticking it out, rehabbing, trying to make a comeback. He got setback after setback after setback and still gutting it out, still trying to make it back to the big leagues. And this year, it looks like he will finally make it back to the big leagues for the last game of his major league career before he calls it quits. But when you look at his numbers, Wright is among the Mets all-time leaders in numbers of offensive categories. He played in the second most games in franchise history, but has the most at-bats. When it comes to WAR, which is one of the main stats, he's second all-time in the team with 50.4. At-bats, he got over 5,900 at-bats, first on the team all time. Runs, over 900 runs, 949 to be exact, first on time. Hits, over 1,700 hits, 1,777 to be exact, first all time.
Yeah,
This is
he's
all
up
Mets.
there with the Mets.
Doubles, 390, first all time. I mean, the guy was on pace to be an absolute stud. He was going to have a better career than Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer, third baseman. He was going to be an absolute surefire Hall of Famer.
So let me ask you this.
Home runs, 242, second all time for the Mets. RBIs, 970, first all time
So
for
let
the
me
Mets.
ask you this. Is he the Derek Jeter of the Mets?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. He is Mr. Met. When you think about the Mets, at least
You think
for
David
that,
Wright?
you think David Wright, you
Got a
think
big
Jose
baseball head.
Reyes, yeah, Tom Seaver maybe, but David Wright, when it comes to the mid 2000s,
Man, he's been.
he was just the absolute stud. And you gotta remember, they picked David Wright over Jose Reyes. They let Jose Reyes sign a free agent contract with the Marlins, and they re-signed David Wright.
Wait till go.
Yeah, it didn't work out, but
It
we
didn't,
out here,
it
La
didn't.
Melaza.
But we take him just 'cause he's Hispanic, so we want him in Miami.
Loco, un come plátano. But yeah, they picked David Wright over my come plátano over there. Mistake, probably, maybe, you never know.
I mean, depends on-
Reyes is still playing baseball, but whatever. But yeah, the guy had a phenomenal career. When it comes to his early part of the career, middle part of his career, he got a bit unlucky, a la Brandon Roy. If you remember Brandon Roy in the NBA, he was a 4-time All-Star, and then he got some injuries. It was never the same. never make it back to the league. Same thing with Derek
Derrick
Wright. He was
Rose.
on pace to become a Hall of Famer. You know, had over 240 home runs. Was on pace to probably maybe hit 400 home runs if he would stay healthy. Now the guy was one of those what ifs, what could have became, what could have been. And it's sad to see, man. But props to you for sticking it out, gunning it out, and, you know, making sure you could go out on your own terms.
Yeah, that's the best way.
So
to
props to you, David Wright. You know, I give you props. You know, you're the man, and nothing but respect for you. And best of luck on your next chapter of your career, of your life.
And thanks for all the fantasy points you've given me over the years. I've always picked you up, consistent. I never had to worry about if you were showing up or not. I mean, the guy's always delivering.
This is the age we live now, where people care about fantasy
over real life things.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Won't pick you up next year, but we'll take you for what you've given us. Okay. Go ahead and ask the
Goss Clan.
question.
Lamborghini Mercy. Your bitch is so thirsty. All right, Rob. Will Colin Kaepernick ever start an NFL game again? And how has he changed the game? Because you still see all these protests going on. You still see people supporting Colin Kaepernick. How has his stance against the league changed the game?
So, Colin Kaepernick's done more for the game in a sense of justice, clarity, and overall unity with the community, aside from what he's done on the football field.
Yeah.
Do I think he's gonna quarterback again in the NFL? I strongly believe that he will. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic on it.
It's been a solid 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
A solid 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
Wow. Okay, that's saying a lot.
It's been 3 years, but you know what? Rome wasn't built in one day.
Well, he's approaching 30. Is he? He's approaching 30. I'm pretty sure the guy's like 29 already. I mean, okay.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If he comes back to the NFL and as a quarterback, he's not gonna get paid heavy. We know that already. We haven't seen what he's done for 3 years.
Whoa.
Age only adds.
I gotta.
Father time only adds wear and tear.
I gotta ask them to do that because, according to John Elway, they offer him a contract to be their backup quarterback,
right?
And he didn't take it because he said he didn't want to take that pay cut that came along with being a backup quarterback.
But
so what makes you think
someone
that he's
gives
gonna
him
take
the
a pay
position,
cut?
right? You don't want to pay your starting quarterback a feasible amount. But I think in the sense of all of this, if Colin Kaepernick, mind you, Colin Kaepernick is bigger than football at this point. If Colin Kaepernick can get some sort of gratification on what he's doing outside of the field,
yeah,
I feel like if he really loves the game, he'll come back, pull some sort of Isaiah Thomas moment for 1 year and show the league what he can do. And granted, he's only getting older. If he does come back at this point, show the league what he can do and reevaluate himself on what he's worth to the league. Now, if he comes back, whoever drafts him, whoever recruits him and signs Colin Kaepernick is going to have a huge center of focus,
absolutely,
of attention,
yeah,
and not only attention but support. You know what it is when the fans support a player? They're willing to go buy the jerseys, they're willing to go watch the games, they're willing to televise his events because he's Colin Kaepernick. Let me say something real quick. This Nike commercial that just came out with Colin Kaepernick about being bigger than sports was a huge commercial, and it's actually increased Nike sales by 90%. Even against all the controversy where people are burning Nike shoes and things like that. Sorry to say, but the people who are burning Nike shoes are the American white folks who supported Trump and who are against Colin Kaepernick and who are against the NFL. You have the right to do what you want to do and protest how you want to protest. It is your American right, and as an American, that's what you do. If you don't believe that, that's fine. Believe what you want to believe. Every American is entitled to their own opinion. But Colin Kaepernick has increased Nike sales, which... Even if he's increased Nike sales,
that was the goal, wasn't it? That was the
yes,
goal.
if he'll increase Nike sales, he'll increase what? Other sales for the organization. People are drawn to players for what they do on the field, but don't mistake it. They're drawn to players for what they do off the field as well. That's why LeBron James, Stephen Curry, they're the highest top paid players in endorsements and in overall popularity when it comes to jerseys. So, Colin Kaepernick, if you're listening, I have nothing but high hopes for you. I'm very optimistic. I hope you come back to the NFL, show the league what you're at. I remember watching the Super Bowl to this day. You shocked everybody. We were having shots. It was a great night that night. And I was surprised on what you can do on such a short base level. Because remember, he was a backup quarterback. He came in. And he showed the world what he can do. I hope you can do that again. Almost to an Isaiah Thomas level. You know, Isaiah Thomas kind of has to reprove himself now in the NBA. But he proved himself in Boston. If you have a love for the game, and you get that gratification you want from the outside field perspective, I feel like he'll make a great quarterback. Even if it's a backup quarterback, I feel like he'll reconsider down his career and maybe accept the position just to show what he's done off the field, is to prove a point. If he's proven a point, I feel like he'll come back to the NFL, have a decent season, and just go about it the right way. I mean, I think he's doing all the right things. That being said, Jose, we want to thank the fans for tuning in to Sports Blitz, guys. Like I said, feel free to leave us some feedback, comment, subscribe, follow, shout us out. Do what you got to do. We're going to get a guest speaker on here soon. We're going to be talking more football, more baseball. Baseball's almost over, so World Series talks are coming soon. Basketball season's around the corner. We got a lot of things brewing up in the preseason. But don't forget, like I said, to tune in weekly, guys. We'll be podcasting on sports, anything that's trending in sports. So it's your boy Rob signing out.
What your boys say, y ya tú sabes, come plátano. At the end, I got a little off it, bro.
Chico, we weren't recording.
No way. God, come on, Rob. Like,